Privacy Dynamics, and today I'm going to show you how easy it is to get started anonymizing data using our software. So the first thing you're going to do is go to privacydynamics.io. Then you'll click this sign up button here on the top right corner. Now once you've done that and you've entered your email address, you're going to get dropped into our Getting Started wizard. And the wizard shows you all the different data sources that we can connect to. So you see common data warehouses here like Snowflake, Redshift, and BigQuery. We can also connect to data lakes like S3 or Azure or GCS. Or we can connect to databases like Postgres and MySQL or an SFTP server. Now, we understand that connecting your proprietary and sensitive data to a new tool can be a little bit daunting, so we also provide some sample data. So in this case, we have a data set of 2,000 fake users that you can use to explore our tool. So let's do that together. So as soon as we select a data set, whether it's your own data or our sample data, we're going to ask you to configure treatment of that data. And what treatment means is it's the manner in which we anonymize or de-identify your data. So the first selected option here is to treat all identifiers. And that's kind of the safest and fastest option. But in a minute, we'll look at what it means to override that option and look at custom settings as well. Now, if you're treating all identifiers, you can choose whether you would like to redact those identifiers. That means to drop it from the resulting data set. You can replace those identifiers with realistic looking fake data, or you can mask that data, which means to replace it with a consistent kind of placeholder. So we're going to leave it on the default, which is realistic. You can also, for our enterprise customers, you have the option of anonymizing indirect identifiers. Those are things like birth dates, genders, and zip codes that individually can't be used to identify someone, but collectively, if they uniquely identify someone in your data set, those can be used to identify an individual in the real world also. Now, if we click next here, we're pretty much done. With the sample data set, we load that data into our sample bucket, so there's nothing else to configure. But let's take a look at the custom settings and what that would look like. So for this data set, as I mentioned, there's 2,000 users in this data set. We have a handful of columns here, and for each column, you can see sort of its semantic, or sorry, its type from the database on the left side here. Its field name, and then its semantic category. So one thing that sets Privacy Dynamics apart is we have a very advanced automatic classification of PII in particular. And so we assign every field a semantic category. And so you'll notice for, let's say, full name, we recognize that to be a full name, an email address, a US address, a phone number, a gender, and so on. Now, you'll notice when we clicked over to custom settings, it pre-populated this table with our default treatment settings. So the full name, email, and address and phone number fields are selected for realistic or fake data. And we've by default chosen to just redact the Stripe ID, which is like a UUID type identifier. Instead, I'm going to choose to, let's say, redact the email address, and I'm going to lock the physical address or the mailing address. What that means is that it will be present in our destination data set, even though we've detected it as an identifier. So now I can click next here. I'm going to create a project name, a great name. And then if I'd like, I can choose to set up a schedule. So Privacy Dynamics can run your treatment on any schedule, either a simple hourly, daily, or weekly schedule. You can use our custom schedule builder here, or just enter a cron tab if you prefer that. Next, I'm going to choose to run this immediately so we can see the results. And then in a production setting where you connect your own data, we have this other option which detects changes in the source data and will update the destination data if the schema changes. We'll, let's say, add new columns with our default settings. So we can do that, but we'll leave that blank for now because the sample data won't change. So I'm going to click Finish on that. And you'll see now that this data set is analyzing. It's kind of queued to be run, and it's finished already. So this sample data set is only 2,000 records, as I said. But if you've ever used a synthetic data generator or some other tools, you'll know that they're surprisingly slow. And this data set, even though it's about 2,000 records, which is not big by modern standards, finished almost immediately. And in fact, much larger data sets also can be hundreds or thousands of times faster than generating synthetic data. Great, and then I can scroll down on this page, which is my data set report, and I can see for each column kind of what happened to that column. Again, we get to view that semantic category, and then the treatment option is listed underneath the column name. Great, and that is all I have for you today. So thanks so much for watching. And again, if you want to get started, you go to www.privacydynamics.io.